Ancient Greece, the birthplace of Western civilization. Few dare tell its magnificent tale, choosing only to focus on smaller topics like Alexander the Great or the Peloponnesian War, but seldom do people go out of their way to learn the true saga of the ancient Greeks, from the Titans to the Romans, the impartial history. Join me in this and future videos as we dive deep into the autism and explore the positively bizarre history of this peninsula. In the beginning, there was only chaos, a shapeless material that was emptiness incarnate, swallowing the universe as its own darkness cast a shadow upon darkness itself. And from chaos came three divine entities: the Mother Earth, who is simultaneously the planet we live on and an individual person; Gaia, who possessed unparalleled fertility as to invent the concept of immaculate conception; Tartarus, who is simultaneously a person and a literal incarnation of hell itself; and Eros, who invented the concept of love. With the arrival of Eros, Gaia and Chaos were able to reproduce, and the universe came as offspring. Chaos created god and goddess Erebus and Nyx, the personifications of darkness and night. From their union came Aether and Hemera, the personifications of the air that the gods breathe and the day, and various other children that I cannot be bothered to name. If you're annoyed about the name dump, this is the Greek pantheon, so get used to it. Meanwhile, Gaia produced her first real offspring, and already abortion makes sense, because what came from her was Uranus, the god of the starry sky and an incestuous fuck, who immediately went full Freudian and slept with Gaia. From that came three sets of monstrous children: the Cyclopes, the Hecatonchires, and the Titans. Upon seeing his deformed, inbred children, not wanting to do the merciful thing, that being late abortion, he shoves them back into Gaia, making sure they never saw the light of day, hoping that they would just end up as just as bad as incels as he was. The worst of these children was Cronus, who conspired with Gaia to humiliate and dethrone Uranus as the master of the universe by cutting off his cock and balls while he was doing more unspeakable acts to Gaia. When the day came, Uranus left his den to release his gamer rage on Gaia, only for Cronus to ambush him and castrate him. Uranus's blood and genitals then fell into the sea, which created the giants, the nymphs, and the furies, as well as Aphrodite, the goddess of sluts, one final mistake before Uranus was exiled from the realm of the gods. And so the gods breathed a sigh of relief. Well, they would have, had Cronus not turned out to be an even worse ruler than Uranus, once again imprisoning the Cyclopes and Hecatonchires in Tartarus, and like father like son, couldn't help but engage in incest, this time marrying his sister Rhea. Gaia once told Cronus that like he betrayed Uranus, he too would be betrayed by his children. Actually buying this, he decided that the only course of action was to literally vor his own children. Every time a new child was born, he would eat it. Disgusted by this, and all the incestuous sex, Rhea decided to flee to the island of Crete, where her sixth child was born, the legend himself, Zeus. To conceal this act, Rhea wrapped a stone in swaddled clothes, and this somehow worked, and Cronus swallowed the rock instead of the child who was on Crete. Years pass, and Zeus is raised by the nymphs Adrastea and Ida, as well as the she-goat Amalthea, growing to be the most handsome, strong, intelligent, and powerful of the gods, leading a noble and stoic life in a Cretan cave with his harem of nymphs. But duty called, and he consulted his future wife, who was also his aunt, Metis, who was the most wise and least inbred of the Titans, therefore worthy of Zeus's respect and genes. Metis advised Zeus to disguise himself as a servant of Cronus, and have him drink a poison disguised as wine, which will cause him to vomit continuously. Liking the banter of this plan, Zeus returned to the realm of the gods, and very much like himself, Cronus drank the poison like the idiot he was, proceeding to vomit so hard that the digested remains of Zeus's siblings, and the rock, remanifest and come gushing from Cronus's mouth. Zeus then brought the stone to Delphi, as it was the most divine of them all. Zeus's siblings, eternally grateful at their liberation, acknowledged Zeus as their leader. But Cronus, now positively seething at this humiliation, gathered an army of Titans to attack and destroy Zeus and his siblings, beginning the Titanomachy, a decade-long civil war deciding the fate of the universe. True Olympian Chads versus pathetic LARPers. The Titan commander Atlas managed to gain the upper hand on the Olympians, using underhanded methods like the coward he was. To regain the advantage, and also to correct the mistakes of his father, Zeus released the Hecaton Kyries and the Cyclopes from Tartarus, enlisting them into his war effort. In gratitude, the gods Hades and Poseidon, as well as Zeus himself, were given 3 mighty tools. Hades was given a helmet of invisibility, which he used to sneak behind the lines of the Titans and raid their camps. A trident was given to Poseidon, who destroyed all seaborne Titans and monsters in the Olympians' path. And the greatest weapon of all, the lightning bolt, was given to Zeus, just to make him even more overpowered for shits and giggles. The Titans then met the Olympians in a mountain pass. Not wanting to waste any more time, Zeus just had the Hecaton Kyries throw boulders at the Titans until they ran away like the bitches they were. The Titans were then rounded up and all sent to Tartarus, apart from Atlas, who for the crime of being a bitch was forced to carry the weight of the universe on his shoulders for all eternity. One final challenge to Zeus's authority was Typhon, who was brought forth by Gaia to kill Zeus because she didn't understand the sin of incest. But Zeus just bolted him and buried him in Sicily, where he still screams about his humiliating defeat to this day. With the kingdom of the gods secured, Zeus was now the undisputed master of the universe. But that is just the beginning. Next, we will cover the Gigantomachy and the origin story of humanity, which should come next week. See you then.